Hello, 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 and happy Sunday. Welcome. Today is Sunday on March 5th, 2023, and you are watching Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, the founder of Holistic Fitness, and a mother and a wife, and I'm here today to, as usual, hold space for each and every one of you, shine light on you, and provide insight for you as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Do me a big favor before we dive into today's show. Remember to share this show out, leave your comments, and like the show. So share, like, and comment, as I'm about to do just now. Just going to share it out, let everybody know that we are here live. Hello and welcome. It's so funny. I always find it fun. Here we go, sharing it out. I was finding it funny that I wasn't able to do that. So let's see who I can share it out to. Invite folks to come in. Let people know that I am here. Let me just spend a second or two to do that. All right, to do that. That made a lot of sense, people, right? Anyway, super excited to be here. If you have not noticed, I just want to bring it to your attention before I dive into just thanking all of my guest partners for participating and supporting the show. But there is a new time and specific days where I am here. So the new time is 3:33 p.m. Eastern. So please go ahead, put that on your calendar for the first and third Sunday of the month. So I'm excited to be here with you, and I want to just start off by thanking my amazing guest partners, which we're going to go run down the lines where we have our guest partners, Joe Monkman, who is our shamanic healing practitioner and also wellness advocate. CJ Ives Lopez, she is the host and publisher of the Author's Porch podcast and magazine, which in fact, the newest magazine is being featured on April 1st. So put that on the calendar as well. You're definitely going to want to get that issue. We have Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, who are the hosts of Intuition of the Soul. Tammy Mose, which is the founder of Chief Encouragement Officer and the founder of the Hoarding Solution. And last but not least, we have our amazing guest who's going to be here today with us, Deborah Beatty, which is our badass color mystic. So thank you for all of my partners that make this show run as we go week after week after week. And know that if you've ever missed an episode, you can always go and watch on replay on the major platforms such as Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, Twitter, and of course YouTube, where we are actually live right now besides for here. So if you're all watching on YouTube or Twitter, hello. And those of you who are watching on Facebook, leave your comments because I can actually see them, and I'll do my best to respond back to them, such as I see Anne popping up. So hello, Anne, for being here with me today. So I want to share some insight regarding the energy that we have going on right now. I'm sure you're all feeling this magical March energy, and hopefully you had a chance to check out the cosmic energy forecast that I went live on the first Wednesday of this month on Joanne's Cosmic Energy. And if you did, you already know what's going on for your zodiac signs. And I would love to know how the energy is matching up for you. So if you have not had a chance to check out that forecast, you can. That's on many of the platforms as well. Just to name one or two of them, you can check out that show on Audible. You can also check it out on iTunes, iHeartRadio. Anyway, so for today's energy, what's going on for today? As we are on the 5th, we're 2 days away from the amazing full moon in Virgo. Now, this Virgo full moon is going to help us to clear out energies that no longer serve, which when we think about full moon's energy, that's what the full moon actually does. It helps us to clear things away. This particular full moon is in Virgo's energy, which is about organizing, restructuring, becoming more mindful of your mind, body, and spirit, specifically your body system, what works for your body system, what's not working for your body system. I know for me, working with clients, I'm hearing many clients speak about how they are looking to change up their dietary habits to start to eat a little lighter. And what that might look like for many is maybe not eating as much red meat or things that are heavy to their system. And a lot of that has to do with this full moon's energy moving us into this Virgo vibration. And in addition to the full moon taking place on March 7th, we also have a major planet, Saturn, the planet of structure, the planet of foundation, karmic cycles, boundaries, and so much more, is entering into Pisces. This is a really, really big energy for every one of us. And it's really important to know where Saturn is on your chart, what house and zodiac sign it's in. So this way here, you can have the theme to what Saturn's going to help you with for the next 2.5 years, because Saturn stays in Pisces, stays in any zodiac sign for 2.5 years. Pisces holds the energy of all 12 zodiac signs, and also Pisces is known as the most intuitive sign there is. So it's going to help us tie up our loose ends, so bring things to an ending, closure. It's going to help us tap into our intuition, and it's also going to help us really align more boundaries, close up our karmic cycles, and focus in on our foundation. Your foundation, it could be associated with your body, it could be associated with the work that you do, it could be associated with home. So I would be curious to know for you, where is Saturn on your chart? What house and what zodiac sign? And if you love for some insight on that, feel free to send that information to my email, which is healingwithin76@gmail.com. And I'm feeling sort of gracious because I just celebrated my 53rd birthday, which was yesterday. So I'm offering to anyone who's interested a 15-minute complimentary self-growth discovery session. You can redeem that. Again, email to go ahead and redeem that session. So what I like to do now is let's tap into this energy to how we can utilize this Saturn and full moon's energy all taking place on March 7th. What one chakra you can work on so you can be more aligned to this energy. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, the one card that doesn't want to come out. Here we have it. Oh, here we go. All right, the card that's showing up for us for this energy for, again, full moon in Virgo and Saturn entering Pisces is family. Family. Where do you need some more boundaries when it comes to family? Where do you want to complete a karmic cycle? What do you want to tie up the loose ends about? The heart chakra is about maybe the matters of the heart that might be feeling a little heavy. The cards are bright though, so there's no resistance to this. Every one of us are open to hearing this message. And the number 1 and 5, so appropriate, it's number 6. It's associated with the Virgo energy, which is 6th house. When we think about numerology, it's about healing, nurturing, taking care of your home, which could be your body, and it could actually be your physical space and your career as well. So there's a lot of action in this card. Family is the key component when we think about Saturn's energy and the full moon. So where do you want to tie up those loose ends, and what boundaries do you want to start setting when it comes to family? Remember that family is not just associated to the bloodline. It could be anyone you classify as your family. So I'm loving that message right there. We're going to keep that card up. And again, if you have any comments, questions, or if you'd like to just learn more about your astrology chart, your personal energy, your number, I invite you to take advantage of that complimentary 15-minute self-growth discovery session. You could do so by emailing healingwithin76@gmail.com. On that note, what I'm going to be doing now is taking a quick commercial break. So when I get back, I'm going to have my guest here, and we're going to dive into a really interesting topic for today. I'll be right back.
Are you ready for solutions and connections? If so, I can help. Hi, I'm Tammy Moses, and I help the peripheral people resolve hoarding issues in a holistic way. I would love to connect with you and learn more about how I can help in your unique situation. Please send me an email to thehoardingsolution@gmail.com. I look forward to connecting with you.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I do have my amazing guest here, but I'll introduce you to her in just a moment. Just want to say hello to anyone who's just tuning in for right now. If you are just tuning in and you missed the first give and take 10 minutes of the show, you will definitely have to come back and watch, and you could do so by watching on YouTube, where we actually are live, Twitter, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, you name it, we're there. Anyway, just want to share a little bit about the card that showed up for today, which is about family. It's associated with the heart chakra and the number 1 5, which is 6, which I find that to be so appropriate based on the energy we are actually moving into with the full moon in Virgo. Virgo is associated with the 6th house. It's all about our body system. It's about health, fitness, and wellness. It's about nurturing, healing, taking care of your home. When we speak of taking care of your home, it's not just your shelter, it's also your body, and it's also your job as well. And Saturn is getting ready to enter Pisces season, and it's going to be staying there for the next 2.5 years. So to learn more about what that means for you, as I mentioned in my introduction, go ahead and email healingwithin76@gmail.com to redeem your complimentary 15-minute self-growth discovery session. So let's put all that aside for now and let's get on to today's topic, as I have one of my amazing partners here with me today, Deborah Beatty. Her and I chat a lot off the show. So welcome, 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 my doll. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Joanne.
Thank you for being here. You have so much to share, and obviously an hour is never enough time to do all the sharing you have to do. So our topic for today, which I thought was quite interesting, and I know there's a bigger part to this topic, but the title, Watch Your Mouth. Let's talk a little bit about that before we dive into the questions that I have for you. Again, and I know your topic was much wider, so just give me a little nugget in reference to where that topic came from. Watch your mouth.
Well, the full topic name is Watch Your Mouth, Your Subconscious is Listening, because your subconscious works on what you say and what you think. It has to do with conscious languaging and being aware of what you're speaking into existence, because we all have the ability to manifest things by just speaking them into existence. How many times have you gone and told people what you're up to, and then that happens? It's mostly being able to figure out how to ask for what you want, free of what I call autopilots, which is a should or an ought to that robs you of your ability to choose. Um, in fact, autopilots live in the because, and a lot of times when we speak things into existence, we use a lot of phrases like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't wait for this, or I don't want that anymore. When you do your affirmations, just remember that the universe does not hear not.
Yes,
And
yes,
so when you
exactly.
say, I don't want any more of this, guess what? You get more of
Oh yeah,
that.
yes, yes, yeah, because the universe only hears I want versus I don't. Yes, yes, and I always find it interesting because as humans, what we tend to do is we like to vent, or we just like to talk because we like to hear our own voice, whatever the case might be, and we're always talking about all the different things that we may not have yet, or the things that are bothering us. And I think that also plays a huge role, because if we're talking about the things that bother us, as you said, we're going to continue to create more of the things more of that into our experience versus it finally coming to an end.
Oh, absolutely. And if we learn to speak consciously and we learn to create consciously and we learn to have conversations with ourselves and be conscious about it, we can overcome those things that keep showing up. And, we have to remember that we create those things.
Now, I
And
have
so,
I have a question for you before you go further, because I'm sure there's probably people in the audience thinking this because I'm thinking it as well. When you speak on creating consciously or speaking consciously, what exactly is that, and how would one do that? Let's go there.
okay. Well, speaking consciously is being aware of what you're saying at all times and how, you know, in regular conversation, when we have a dialogue, we are conscious of not saying things that are going to be hurtful, not saying things to the other person that will trigger them. If we know them well enough, we avoid doing that. That's part of being conscious. Where we really need to take it to a new level is in using that same kindness and avoidance of things that hurt when we're talking to ourselves. Because in the self-talk, a lot of times, we all have our personal DJ that lives in our head that is never there to support us.
Uh-huh. That is
It's
true.
always telling you, why do you think you can do that? Oh, you're not smart enough to do that. Oh, this happened the last time. Don't do it again. And all of that. And one of the things that I teach is how to quiet that inner voice down. But you have to take responsibility for what you speak into existence, whether it's internal or external. And
Ooh,
so that's what I mean by conscious languaging, being conscious of what you say and how.
it's so interesting because you used the word inner voice, and I'm just going to throw this in there just for a moment so we can see how there's a connection between our planets and this conversation we're having right now, where when we speak of the planet Mercury, which is about communication, and where Mercury is right now, which is in Pisces energy, which is all about connecting with the inner voice, having the ability to connect with the inner voice, but also the ability to feel what other people are actually thinking. So I think it intertwines really nicely. So my next question regarding this whole autopilot process, in regards to how does one disconnect from the autopilot concept?
Okay, well, one of the ways, it takes being aware of what you're doing when you come to a crossroads. Are you doing what you ought to do? Are you doing what you should do? Or are you doing what you were born to do and what you love to do? And you can always run that metric against anything that you're thinking or doing at any given time. Like I said, autopilots are my own word, and they're based on my book, Disconnect Your Autopilot, that I published that 10 years ago, and I'm in process of doing a second edition coming out probably by the end of the year, updating it. But basically talking about realizing who's in charge, in your body, in your humanity. Are you, or is it your autopilot? Are you just chugging along doing what other people wanted you to do or what you think you should do? Or are you really living a created life of your choosing?
Yes, it's silly to say that there's a lot of people out there who tend to fall in the category of that they are doing what they ought to or should be.
Yeah,
as opposed to being brave. And I'm going to use that word brave because I really think that plays a huge role. Being brave enough to step into their creative side, their creative soul, and doing what they were literally born to do. Because, I mean, I truly believe, and I'm sure you all agree with me, that every one of us has that one particular special gift. And that if we're not in our creative soul, we're literally robbing those people that need us at this time because we're living more and I should be doing it this way or I ought to be doing it that way.
exactly, exactly. And like in my case, when I first came up with the concept of the autopilot, um, I realized that I had spent the last 47 years trying to do what I ought to do, to, take the path of least resistance. And I was actually living out my mother's disappointment. And because she couldn't go to college, she couldn't do things that I was doing. Well, she made my life miserable unless I did those things.
Mm.
And she lived vicariously through my doing those things, but she hadn't planned on the fact that I'm an individual and I have my own way of wanting to do those things.
Oh yeah.
Um, the biggest thing was I realized that I think we're all born on autopilot. That's AUTO pilot. When we are infants, we don't have any choice. Everybody is doing things for us because we are unable to do them ourselves. We're just too young.
Mm-hmm.
We can't, we can't get up and walk and get something to eat. We're dependent. And slowly that kind of evaporates as we learn skills, as our muscles develop, as our bodies develop. But once we start thinking for ourselves is where the autopilots, and that's OUGHTA pilots,
Mm-hmm.
start coming into play, because we want to do what we should do to be a good girl or a good boy, or pleasing our parents, because they're the first ones that we run up against, or pleasing teachers, and then that extends later to pleasing bosses and things like that. And it's a hard cycle to break. It's a hard concept to wrap our minds around, that we are able to live created lives of power, passion, and possibility, and that we don't have to live the lives that we should,
Yeah.
you know.
I now that I actually sit here and really pay attention to the topic that you have for today, it's so perfectly aligned to the Saturn entering Pisces in regards to every one of us having this ability now to change or add boundaries to set up this new whole process to stepping out of the shoulds or to and move into that what am I here to actually do, so creating that new boundary. And then of course this full moon that we have where it is about this energy could definitely help every one of us to let go of having to live a life that someone else thinks we should be living versus living our true authentic purpose to why we're here. And imagine if we all did that, how much happier every one of us would actually be because we're doing what we're meant to be doing, and how that also falls into this whole process of our body system. When we actually do what we're meant to be doing, our bodies would be more aligned and there would be less pain, illness, and disease showing up. So I think this topic is, oh my God, right on the money today. So
Again,
perfectly aligned. Perfectly aligned, yes. So, Deborah, if you may, just let our audience know how they can reach you through your website, because I know your website has everything there for them. If you can give that out, please.
sure. My website is createdlife.com, and that's with an ed, created life.com.
Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, there's going to be more about this amazing topic because, of course, there's more to know in this show for today. So we'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha. Aloha.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I have my amazing guest, Deborah, here with me. We are chatting about watch your mouth, being on autopilot, and what that actually means. And interesting enough, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't get a chance to listen and witness and everything else. But I do want to bring up a little something that Deborah and I were just chatting about. But before I do that, I want to remind you that if you did not catch the beginning of the show, you can go back later and watch on any of the major platforms, just to name a few: Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Feel free to go back and check out the beginning portion
and Facebook.
Show. Oh, yes, we are on Facebook. We're right here on Facebook. We're on YouTube.
You can watch it later on Facebook, too.
Yes, yes. So Deborah and I were just sharing about this energy that, in regards to, if you are not living in your creative soul's contract and you're in that space of the shoulds or auto because you're trying to live out, you're trying to follow the rules, so to speak, based on what parents or relatives or whomever it is thinks you should be doing. Deborah and I were just chatting about how that shows up in the body. So Deborah, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about what you were just saying about how it shows up in the body.
Sure. When you spend so much time ignoring your own path or what you're here to do, a lot of times that'll manifest in illness or dis-ease, as they used to say, and anger and guilt and all those kinds of things, repressed emotions manifest as cancer sometimes, or they'll manifest, even a simple cold is mental congestion. That's why your nose runs. And if you're really aware and you're conscious, and that's, that has to be there, being conscious of what's going on with you and with your surrounding environment, it goes a long way towards just general wellness. If you look at how many people we lost when COVID first hit and the types of people that we were losing, there was also a lot of anger, depression, anxiety involved in that just made that even worse than what it was, and it's left a hole in all of our hearts for all those people that we lost, you know.
Yes. And so again, as I said before, so aligned with this Virgo full moon, that sixth energy, which is really about healing our body system. Whereas again, yes, if you do have a cold or pain that's showing up, or maybe your illness or disease is even flaring up, yes, obviously the idea is to go get yourself checked out, but also take time to check yourself out. Be your own doctor. To start connecting the dots to what in your life is out of alignment that could be creating these symptoms that's showing up in your body. And be brave enough to start working on healing from within, as opposed to thinking you're going to find your answers externally, because everything we really do need to know is within us anyway. So drawing into this whole conversation, when we think about it, how does one know that they have autopilot, that autopilot's in charge, that to be ruled by your autopilot? How does one know that?
Well, it is hard, because you created your autopilot, you know, and if you think about the word that it kind of came from, the autopilot, you set it and forget it, right? You just run along on a plane or whatever, you know, and now they're talking about driverless cars that'll be on autopilot to get from point A to point B. And there's not a lot of conscious thought in there. If you are just reacting, and the first thing that you think about when you go to do anything is, oh, I should be doing it, I should be doing this. If you're sitting quiet on your couch and you're thinking, oh my God, I need to get up and vacuum, or oh, I should be putting my grocery list together, I shouldn't just be sitting here reading a book, or, you know, with my feet up, I should. That's the first indicator that there's an autopilot at work. And part of what I do is help people disconnect them and discover them, because we've been running on them for so long, we're not even aware of them, most of us.
Yeah, so what I hear from that is paying attention to what you're actually saying to yourself, or paying attention to what you're saying to somebody else as well, to become aware of how to change the internal dialogue and also the external dialogue too. Because again, as people say to one another, you know, you should be doing it this way. It's like, well, why should I be doing it this way? Why is it the way I'm doing it? Why is that not good enough?
Well, have you ever had a wonderful idea, and the first thing you do is you go to your best friends or your family and say, I got this great idea?
Oh yeah, all the time.
and the first thing out of their mouths 9 times out of 10 is, that's awesome, you know what you ought to do? You know, and then they add their opinion on there. And I've gotten pretty good at saying, yes, I do know what I ought to do, but what do you think? You know, because then that takes back the ownership of what I'm doing.
Yes, and actually, what I've gotten really good on doing is, and I believe that this is probably one of a piece of advice that I suggest everyone take on, is have a support team of those people that you can share your terrific ideas with. So they're going to be your cheerleaders. They're going to be the one that's going to actually cheer you on without giving their feedback to what you ought to be doing, as opposed to going to those people that may be the ones that's going to, well, you should be doing it this way, or ought to do it that way. And really have that in mind, because if you have a great idea, the way I see it anyway, is that idea is a part of your contract. And now you are finally getting into that vibration to create it, because now you're thinking about it. But if you go out and speak to all those other people that may not be your cheerleaders or cannot see your vision the way you see your own vision, they're gonna knock you down. They're gonna create this thought process that's going to shift your thought in reference to, well, maybe I really shouldn't do it this way, or maybe not a good idea for now. And then it derails the very thing that you're in the vibration to actually do. So I truly believe having a cheerleading team, and that team could be just one person, where I know theoretically, if I had an idea, I know I can reach out to Deborah and say, hey, Deborah, I have this idea. It came to me during sleep, or this morning I was sitting quietly and I just got this vision showing up, and share it with her. I know what Deborah is going to do. Deborah is going to be like, wow, that is amazing. When is it going to happen? And she will have me literally speaking it out in the intention to when I see it happening. And then, of course, she'll give me some tools to eliminate certain words so it can happen sooner than later. Right, Deborah?
Yep, that, and if I have resources that I can share with you that will further your intention,
Exactly.
I will do that,
Exactly.
but yeah, it's very, very important to have somebody, and going beyond the cheerleading squad, you need to also have somebody who will be honest with you, but not coming from ego.
Yes.
Not coming from their ego that they know better than you. Just, okay, so how are you going to do that? And asking the right questions. How are you going to do that? How are you going to fund that? How are you going to, what's your intention for doing that? And that way, at least you get to bounce it off of them. I mean, almost as bad as the people that tell you that that you should be locked up somewhere because you're totally crazy, are the yes men, the people that just say, oh, that's so great, and then they still don't support you. They don't buy your product, they don't do anything, they just,
Exactly.
Those are fluffies, and I can I can do without those.
Exactly. I love that. So in reference to how does disconnecting from autopilot, how does that actually work, to disconnect from autopilot?
You mean like, why should you? And I usually
what does
don't
it do?
use
What would
the
it do
word
for
should.
me? Yeah, what would it do for me if I were to disconnect from autopilot? There's a better question.
Yeah, well, the first thing it would do is put you in charge of your life, and put you in charge where you can choose. I make a distinction between choosing and deciding. I've said this before on the show. Deciding always has a because. Choosing does not. And you are, I live my life to help others live at choice. And when you have an autopilot, you're not choosing. There's always a because, and usually it's very deeply buried, that because. And it could be something that somebody said to you when you were little that's going to hold you back. It could be something that somebody said to you last week. It could be something you said to yourself last week, or
Yes.
when you were little.
So the word because. So if I was to share something and someone were to ask me something, and then my next statement would be because, that itself is another key word of me knowing that I'm on autopilot and I'm being led by that verse, allowing myself to create.
That, or if what you're hearing is, well, I should do this. I should do it this way.
As opposed to I am doing it this way.
I really should do it this way, but I want to do it this way. This is the way that I really want to do this, but I know that I should do it a different way. And if you hear a big should or a big ought to, that's one of the first indicators that, there are autopilots at play. Now, not all of them are bad. There's no bad or good, but I like to disconnect them so that I can be completely present in the moment instead of pulling up something from, from my past, because autopilots always have to do with the past also. And if I want to approach my life and live in the moment, because all we have is now and now
Yes.
and now. Even a nanosecond ago is done. It's over. You can't change it. All we really have is right now in this particular moment. And the fun part is that we can change our whole lives in that moment if we choose to.
Yes.
And understanding that and being able to access that is what you get if you can disconnect your on autopilots. One of my taglines that I like to say is, you can spend your life chasing dreams, or you can disconnect your autopilots and live them right now.
I think I like the second choice.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So on that note, again, Deborah, let everybody know that website address so they can reach out to you.
Sure. It's createdlife.com. And one of the things that I'm offering is a free discovery call. If anybody wants to talk about this, or, explore the possibilities of working with me or working with somebody else to work on this. I am the only autopilot disconnector, but
Of course she is.
yeah, but it's a concept of being able to divest yourself of shoulds and ought tos, and there are a lot of qualified people out there. But give me a call. Let's talk.
There we go.
Reach out through my website.
There we go. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Deborah's going to share a tip or two regarding our topic. And then, as long as Deborah is open, I'm going to pull a card for her and see what's in store for her with this amazing energy we have coming in. So we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Are you ready for solutions and connections? If so, I can help. Hi, I'm Tammy Moses, and I help the peripheral people resolve hoarding issues in a holistic way. I would love to connect with you and learn more about how I can help in your unique situation. Please send me an email to thehoardingsolution@gmail.com. I look forward to connecting with you.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I have my amazing guest, Deborah, here. Topic for the day is watch your mouth. We're speaking about things regarding autopilot, the shoulds, the order, as opposed to living in your creative contract. Your soul's purpose is what I like to call it. So if you're just tuning in, you're definitely going to have to go back and watch from the very beginning because today's topic was very informative. And I do believe with all the energy we have going on, going forward, this is a perfect topic to get you on track to what it is you should be actually doing. And I use that word should, your soul's calling. So you can go and watch once the show's over. You can watch on all the major platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and of course on Facebook, which is where we are right now. So, Deborah, please provide a tip or two in reference to what one word or words people can work with or work away from so they can be more in that space of not being controlled by their autopilots.
Well, the first tip that I'd like to share is be aware of the shoulds in your life. It's an old phrase from the 70s, but don't should on yourself. And don't let anybody else should on you. When you're buried under a pile of should, your life is not happy. What you need to do is when you're faced with any situation, I don't care if it's going out to lunch or, changing careers. When you're faced with any situation, check around and see if you're doing it because you want to or because you think you should. That's the first and most important thing. And I'm not saying that, we all have some shoulds that we should listen to, like you don't go 150 down the freeway. You really should not do that. Because there are social contracts that are in existence that you need to honor. But for the most part, it's, gee, I want to go out tonight. Well, should I or shouldn't I? Those kinds of things. Check your DJ, see what he's playing right now.
Yes. And what I'd like to add to that in reference to when we are using the word shoulds, how it shows up in your body, the metaphysical component of shoulds shows up literally in your shoulders across the back of your neck. So if you do suffer from discomfort in the upper portion of your back, where you get aches and pains like right behind your neck, shoulder blades, and even across your jawline, that's an indication metaphysically that you are, as Deborah just said, doing a lot of shooting on yourself. That's your body's way of letting you know there's something out of alignment. So pay attention to what your body is saying, because sometimes that's a really great indicator of what it is you're not paying attention to. So Deborah, thank you for that amazing tip. Appreciate that. So Deborah, are you open to receiving some guidance for you for today?
Always. Come on, Joanne, you know me.
Yes. And usually when I do card readings, I ask the guests to focus on a question that they would like some guidance. But today, what I was hearing, rather than to do that, with all this energy that we do have coming in between the Saturn entering Pisces and also the full moon in Virgo, that's both taking place on March 7th, what I like to do is pull a card for you based on that information. And by curiosity, do you happen to know where Saturn is on your actual natal chart without having to go diving for it?
Let me think. I don't off the top of my head.
No worries.
I know Kitty did that for me, but
yes, no worries. You can always come back later on the Facebook link that is, and just put that answer in the comments, and then of course I'll come back and respond to that. So I just want you to take a moment, take a breath, and know that whatever card shows up here is obviously for your highest purpose, higher knowing. And just visualize a beautiful violet light wrapped around you to support you as I provide you this information. And I'm going to pull the card. And while I'm doing that, I just want you to say your name that you go by out loud 3 times.
Deborah Beatty, Deborah Beatty, Deborah Beatty.
All right. Your card, surrender. 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 And it's so interesting because the card that's showing about surrendering, it really is about let go of any, and I feel like I always say this to you, let go of any resistance you have to stepping forward into the soul's calling. The green is about the heart center. Any heaviness that you hold on to, anything that's robbing your joy, it's time to surrender that. Anything that's robbing your joy, it's time to surrender that. 6 and 8 is a 5 energy. There's massive change that's going to be coming in with Saturn moving into Pisces and with this amazing full moon in Virgo energy. Lots of changes coming in for you, lots of shifts going on with your body system for that matter. And this change is going to lead you into freedom. But then it's also going to allow you to have some fun at the same time. Does that make sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
And
especially the 5, because that's blue and that's clarity of message.
Excellent. And just out of curiosity, and I don't know if I've ever asked, and if I did, I probably did it a while ago. What is your month and day you're born, not your year?
July 21st.
July 21st. Love that. So for you, this year is about abundance. This year is about harmony and bringing things back into balance for you. So when I said the word surrender, you laughed. What was that about for you?
And it's something I struggle with, is surrender.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I've struggled with that word since the day I was born.
Excellent. So I'm glad the card works for you. Work on your heart chakra so you can clear whatever it is that's robbing your joy. Learn to surrender it. And one last time, let our viewers know that website that they can reach you at.
They can reach me at createdlife.com.
Excellent. And once again, Deborah, this was an amazing show. Loved the topic. Learned a lot today. I'm hoping our viewers did too. And that's all we have for today. We're going to take a commercial break, and I will be back for the conclusion of our show. And hopefully we're going to get Deborah back on the show again really, really soon. But for now, thank you again, Deborah, for being here. Until next time, I'll be back with the conclusion of today's show.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Ladies over 40, do you enjoy CrossFit, HIIT, interval training, Orange Theory, Zumba, or even yoga? I would like to help you incorporate 3 strength training workouts into that regimen. Yes, good old-fashioned strength training. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, and the founder of Holistic Fitness, located right here in New York, Queens. To learn how you can redeem your self-growth discovery session, email healingwithin76@gmail.com and get started on that new 3-day strength training regimen in addition to what you enjoy. That email again is healingwithin76@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. If you are just tuning in, oh my goodness, you missed an amazing show today. Know that I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I invite you to come back, watch the show from the very beginning, as it was a very informative show. Learning how to disconnect from your autopilots of shoulds, order, and start living in your creative soul's contract, which is what you're meant to be doing anyway. So definitely come back and watch today's show with my amazing guest, Deborah, who's our badass mystic, badass color mystic for that matter. She's got so much to offer, and it was a great show today. Now, if you're interested to know who's coming on for the next show on March 19th, I have Kitty Foss that's going to be showing up here. She's our storyteller of astrology, and she and I are going to be chatting about the amazing energy that's coming in as we move into the middle of March. So you definitely want to circle the 19th on your calendar. Remember, that's at 3:33 p.m. Eastern Time, where Kitty will be here talking about all the upcoming energies that's about to unfold for every one of us. So with all that being said, let me share some promos that a lot of my partners have going on. We're going to start off with spirit messages and energy insights. There's a new time. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so look at the flyer and come join us. Then, of course, as mentioned, we have the Badass Color Mystic. She's got a lot of amazing things going on. Check out her website, the Author's Porch magazine and podcast. Most recent issue coming out is on April 1st. Definitely want to get that. You could do that by going over to Amazon when it comes out. Intuition of the Soul, which again, like I said, Kitty Foss is one of the hosts there, so check them out as well. Importantly, as of today, for today, in honor of my birthday, anyone who's interested in receiving a complimentary 15-minute self-growth discovery session to learn about, again, where Saturn is on your chart, the zodiac sign and house, and how this energy is definitely going to influence you, impact you, and help you over the next 2.5 years, I would love to have you schedule that appointment. Email healingwithin76@gmail.com. Until next time, which is the 19th of March, I look forward to seeing you. Until then, enjoy this amazing energy. But for now, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.